I met him at my job. The day before I met him, I went into where he works. I know he wanted to say something to me, right? But he didn't say anything. I was like, just say something. He just kept staring at me. And the following day, before I went to work, I prayed and I was like, God, why can't you just send my husband into my job? Yes, I know it's a female boutique, but let him come to fix something or whatever. And we bought a printer. And they sent him. And I was like, okay. But I didn't really pay any attention until my coworker, she called me and she said, Freddie, say, this is a good one for you. So I said, really? I said, why is that? She said, because he's a Christian and you're a Christian. And I'm like, really? So we exchanged numbers and we messaged that night. I like to go to school. And one night I got lost on Bacardi Road. And I called him, I said, can I call you? And he said, sure. And I said, can you help me because I'm lost? And from then to now, it's history.
We've actually met at work. So what happened was, one day at work, she actually worked across the street from me. So what happened was, they purchased a printer from us at work. And what happened was that they came back because they could not get the printer set up. So my boss sent me over there. She's like, go over there and set up the printer for them. So I was like, okay. So I went over, I checked the printer out, and her co-worker came to me and she started asking me a bunch of questions. I was like, oh Lord, not today, I'm not into this. So I was like, anyway, I'll oblige. So she started asking me a bunch of questions about the printer, about, you know, who am I, where I'm from, and all of that. And I saw when she came along, and then her coworker was like, Freddie, come here. And I heard her whisper to her, say, this is a nice one for you, this is a good one for you should talk to him. So she came over and she started asking me questions and all of that too. So her coworker was like, say, y'all should exchange numbers. Say, come. Give me a number. So we wrote our numbers down and I left. That evening after I got off, I messaged her and she responded, like, okay, I actually got a response back. So, and then ever since we were just communicating back and forth and we hit it off like that.
I love his heart, how big it is. I love the fact that I can be myself, my goofy self and stern self, big titty self with him. And he knows that I'm playing, or he knows like not to take me seriously. So I just love his heart.
Her eyes are the first thing that I actually got attached to. And secondly was her smile. From day one, even up to this day, my two favorite attributes about her. I love everything about her, but those two especially is what draw me in. I knew she was the one the moment I found out that both of our mother's name were Rosenell. So, but actually, how I knew she was the one was our first date. The way that she responded to me, the way that she always listening to what I have to say. She always paying attention to every detail about me. And those were some things that I actually were not used to in the past. So it was new to me. I was like, okay, she actually listens. She actually shows interest. So that's actually what attracted me to her.
Spiritually, we're like spiritually when it comes to God, putting God first in everything that we do. And also our hearts, like we're giving, we're caring for others. So that's where we're similar, our hearts and our spirituality.
A sense of humor. We actually click when we do the most silly set of things. I would start it and she always finishes it. She would start it and I would finish it, and it's always like that every single time.
We're both introverts, but I am more outgoing. He's very quiet. When he's upset, he just shuts down. But I speak, I tend to communicate, and that's not him. So we're similar, but we're different when it comes to communication.
She is mouthy. She likes to row. She's always rowing about something, and I'm the opposite. When she's rowing, I always tell her, calm down. It's not that serious. But she's, oh, you can't, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, it's not that serious. What you making noise for? So,
Well, I was in Grand Bahama, and I got a message from him that morning saying that he had to go into work early. So I said okay, because I know normally sometimes he do that. And my mom and my sister-in-law, I got up and I was folding up some clothes to put in my suitcase because I was leaving that same day. And my mom and my sister-in-law, they was like, "Oh, you have to move because some people are coming to fix the house." Oh, I said okay because it was after Hurricane Dorian. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. So I went inside my brother's room, and my mom came in and she's like, anyways, they had to leave because they forgot something. And I said, Mommy, who comes to people's house without the materials? Who does that? So when I walked out there, and I saw the shadow, and I said, good morning. And when I saw him, I was like, oh my God. When I realized it was him, I was like, oh my God. And I started crying, and I ran away. And he called me, and he got on his knees, and I was crying. Even thugs don't cry. I try not to cry, but I did. And he asked me to marry him, and let's see.
Now, this is one of my favorites. What happened was she went to Freeport to spend time with her family. Before she went over to Freeport, I already had the plan and everything how I'm going to propose to her. So I wanted to get her off of Nassau because every time I do something, she's always asking, oh, what you doing? Where you going? Why you doing this? Why you doing that? So I say, this is not going to work. So I tried my best to get her to leave Nassau, to go Freeport so I can actually plan properly how I want to propose to her. So when she was in Freeport, I purchased a ticket. Before I did that, I spoke to her parents, I spoke to her mother, I spoke to her father. When I spoke to her dad, he was excited. He was basically sounding he was jumping all over the place. So I was like, okay, I guess that's approval. So anyway, I went to Freeport that morning. She messaged me. She was like, oh, how you doing? Because what happens was every time I go to work, we always communicate on the drive to work. So this particular morning, I went to work and I told her that, hey, I have to go to work early today. So I'll talk to you when I take my lunch break. So she's like, okay. The moment I messaged that, I was sitting on the plane. So when I got to Freeport, her dad came and picked me up. We drove to the house, and they somehow persuaded her to go in the room because she was actually out front by the door, and they persuaded her to go in the room for whatever reason. So I came in, and they got her to come back out, and she came out robbing, like, why y'all make me come in the room and come back out again? This ain't make no sense. So she came out robbing, and I was standing in the corner. And when she turned her head and she saw me, she burst out crying and started shouting and all of that. She burst out crying. So when she ran back in the room and she came back out. And when she came back out, I proposed to her and asked her to marry me.
Being a Christian has impacted our relationship. And it's fantastic because I found someone who is willing to wait for me, who's willing to say, okay, we're gonna pray about it, we're gonna wait, we're gonna fast and see what God says. It's just the fact that he's willing to.
Being a Christian is the #1 priority in our relationship. We always try to put God first in everything that we do. Every day we pray for each other, we say a prayer morning and night. Being with her has impacted my journey in a major way because I've learned so much from her. When it comes to Christianity, she's always putting God first in everything that she does, and it motivates me to put God first in everything that I do. Even with the relationship, we always consult God with everything that we do, and we feel that putting him first is our #1 goal in our relationship.
What are you looking forward to on your wedding day?
On my wedding day, seeing him cry when he sees me. But I'm looking forward to just standing there, looking in his eyes that I'm finally going to be Mistress Kelvin Evans. So it's just being there with him.
I'm looking forward to seeing this dress that she's walking on the aisle, and she's always raving about this dress. So I'm really excited about this dress, and holding her hands and asking her, not asking her, but saying our vows and just spending the rest of my life with her.
Well, Kelvin, you know that I love everything about you. I love the fact that you came into my life at a trying time. I felt as though I was not going to find love again, but you helped me to realize and understand what is love and what it is to be loved. And I cannot wait to be with you for the rest of our lives. I love you beyond the stars, beyond the moon, beyond this galaxy, beyond my soul. I love you with the love of God.
Thank you for being my #1 fan, for being my superwoman, and I'm happy that you've chosen me to walk and take this journey with, and I can't wait to see what God has in store for us, and I cannot wait to share and spend the rest of my life with you.